What's up, buddy? What's up, Blake? Yeah, long time. It's almost been a month since I streamed last. There just hasn't really been a lot to talk about, so I haven't felt the need to come and stream. But here I am. Just thought I'd come in with an update regarding Bitcoin. So as you can see, we are still in the range that we've been in since the 27th of February was when we came into this range. That was right here. Here's where we capped out the top of the range. And we've tested the top arguably another 4 times. Not quite as high, but we've had once, twice, 3 times, 4 other times we've tested the highs. So 5 times total. And right now we've got... There was range lows earlier that were like here. 1, 2, arguably 3. Then this was a really deep test. 4th test. 5th was back in line with these ones. And now we've got a 6 and 7 basically, or this is part of the entire like downshift here, even that low there. But if you want to call that another test there and there, then so be it. We're not out of the woods yet, obviously. We're still at the range lows, but generally speaking, when price comes to the bottom of a range, that is where the most fear will be felt. And just like when price comes to the top of the range, that's where the most greed and like FOMO happens. People getting into positions because they're expecting it to, you know, break out. What's up, Alchemist, OG Alchemist? So pretty much from what you can see, this is the range. We've been in it since February. Nothing has changed yet. We're still living inside the box. There's really not much else to say other than we're on the buy side of the range. If you were to take a position long with this range in mind, your stop loss would be pretty close by. It'd be like down here or something, you know. And that's not to say that a move can't just wick you out and stop you out. That's the risk that you run by having a stop loss, I guess. But so be it. If you get stopped out, you get stopped out. If it does show evidence that it's come back in, well, you could get long again and put a stop at the same spot again. And then, you know, let's say it comes back up to test the top of the range, just for argument's sake, right? Then that would be the play there, like longing the lows and selling the highs or taking profit at the highs of the range. So that's what we've got. This is the daily chart. So bunch of testing of resistances and a few tests of support. We have not broken the support. I've got the support here on this dark blue line. Make it a bit bigger so you can see it. Maybe I'll dash it so it stands out. Okay. That's the extremes. As far as oscillators go, let's have a look. I think, yep, the MACD on the daily chart is nice and low. We almost got a MACD crossover. Well, we did initially. Oh, very close. It came very close. It almost crossed. So it looked like we were coming back up, and that was during this little section here. But it wasn't to be. We got slammed back down. Today was the 4th of July, or the July the 4th in the US, so happy Independence Day. So no trading took place on the stock market. It was a holiday. So no influence from the stock market. By the way, the stock market has been ripping new all-time highs, like amongst all this. Like while Bitcoin's just waiting in the wings, like doing this, essentially zigzagging, the stock market's ripping up, going higher and higher kind of thing. So I don't know what's going on with crypto, like why they're not carrying it forward just like the stock market is. Now the stock market, it's not every single stock that's doing amazing. It's just the key drivers like Nvidia, you know, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, you know, all the big tech stocks are like carrying the stock market forward. Quiet pointed that out to me yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's true. Good point. It is just the big companies that are mainly doing all the heavy lifting. But in saying that, I mean, it's the S&P 500. It's still a high as a high. You know, you can't deny that. It's not a bear market. The stock. I mean, you know, you look at that and you go, yeah, no, it's definitely not a bear market. It's a raging bull market because it's just up, 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 up. Let's see, what have we got this? Let me open up the calendar. Let me just make this dark mode for you guys. So this month of July, we are already, well, at least for me, 5th day in. You guys are July 4. But here's where we're at, basically. We're waiting on these few things here: average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. However, this is where I think this section here, the CPI data, we've sort of been hanging out to see if there's going to be any progress on inflation, like coming down, which is what we want. And then after that, we've got, I don't know if this is a funds rate month. We've got advanced GDP later in the month as well, which is good. That's usually the most impactful GDP score that comes out. And that'll be looking at the second quarter for GDP for this year. I think it's early next month that we get the FOMC, like the funds rate, but that's likely to just be another pause again. Like it's been 5.5% the whole time. They've just been pausing It's just pausing, keeping the funds rate or the interest rates where they're at. Let's check Trueflation. Now this thing's it's kind of been, it hasn't really given you much bearing on reality of what the actual result's going to come out at. But we can try and have a look. Where's the CPI, Consumer Price Index? See if they'll let us view it without logging in. No, that's not the right one. I think it's inflation index, yeah. Okay, so they're saying that the goal has been reached. They're saying that we're under 2% now. And whereas the actual result, the actual CPI is sitting somewhere just above 3%, so back up here. But this, yeah, this is saying otherwise. It's a bit strange. They're so out of touch with what the government's reporting. See, the government reported rate's 3.3%. That's all the way up here. And they're reporting all the way down here. Yeah, bit out of sync there, out of touch. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, whose figures are inaccurate, but anyway. Dogecoin, a lot of the alts, by the way, have been retracing all of the awesome progress we made at the start of the year. Like all of this has been given back, almost entirely given back to where it started, almost. So that's kind of disappointing, but that's altcoins. Alts do that. They tend to do that. I'm just going to flick through some of them. Like, I don't think any of the alts have really come through unscathed, so to speak. There's a lot of new coins, like, you know, Silly, Slurf, but they're all down. They're all, I mean, even WIF is getting pummeled. WIF, Pepe, these meme coins. This pumped spectacularly in May. But once again, it's probably lost half of the progress that it's made in that section, in that run. Would have been nice to get this in in February, like back here. That would have been awesome. Catch all that. But anyway, I'm going to keep this stream pretty brief. Only 15 minutes or so, 13 minutes. So let's have a quick look at Solana. Let's go to like the daily chart. Solana looks like it's in a big, like, kind of wedge formation, something like this. Who knows if it's going to break out anytime soon. What about like that? There's a resistance line there. But yeah, that's definitely in some kind of a squeeze. We'll see what happens with that. Going back to the Doge chart, sorry, the Bitcoin chart. Let's see if there's any trend lines that we should be paying attention to. There was one. If I go on the hourly chart, zoom out a bit. There was this one here. Just adjust it a little. Something to that nature. But, and we did, this looked kind of exciting. Like, we came out and it was almost going to be like a potential bounce off the resistance, calling it a bounce off the flipper. But that wasn't to be. We fell through, came and tested the range low, since bounced for now. We'll see if we can actually start building back up again. you know, first things first, we have to get back up over $60,000, which is the blue line up here. You know, we have to get above that first before we can think about traveling higher, but all eyes on this trend line and obviously this support. This is the grand support that matters. This is the line in the sand, guys. Down here. Anyway, that pretty much wraps it up. That sums up all the interesting and important things to cover. I think everything else is a bit more secondary to that. Where do I think we are in the cycle? Like, it could be, this could be just like a reaccumulation. If I go back to just the Bitcoin index, mind you, this has been a very extended, if it is a reaccumulation, it's taken a really long time. So it could be a top. It really could be some kind of a top. Like the cycle, the 4-year cycle kind of theory or the pattern or behavior of the past might be breaking. Like, you know, there might be, maybe we get, this is just an example, but maybe we get something like this. Maybe we get like a mid-cycle correction and it comes down, and you could even argue that that's some kind of a bear market, and it comes back to, you know, 30,000 or something, visits that, and then comes back up later, and then we get our bull run, perhaps. Or yeah, I just don't know. It's hard to predict the future, but all we have to go by is past performance with the timings of the halvings and all that kind of thing, and the patterns, right? So we've come up to test the old all-time high, which are these solid yellow lines here that go across. These are the previous all-time highs. So on the roadmap, we're like, we've just come up and we're like here. We've just come up and we're like here, right? Like here. So the past suggests that we have this extra leg afterwards, you know, that takes us up to the all-time high, or the what will be the all-time high. But to expect that again, I don't know, like, is it still happening? I'm still optimistic. I still want it to happen. That's my bias. I've got positions to ride that, but it's not set in stone. Just because it's happened 3-4 times before doesn't mean it has to happen for a 4th or 5th time. You know, like, this could just be this could be a top. Who knows? We will find out. Anything can happen. But yeah, what's likely to happen? I don't know. Betting against all of this is what you're doing. If you're calling this a top, if you're calling this the cycle top, and it does look kind of toppy, right? It looks like a distribution kind of pattern. It looks very similar to this structure over here. You know, it's like $70,000 is some kind of like invisible ceiling on Bitcoin, and it just can't get through it. So maybe just maybe it's like a macro double top. Like, if you look at this, that was a top, and then if you look at this, that's a double top, and then what if it slumps again? You know what I mean? Maybe. But anyway, that's all just guesswork. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to that. But yeah, just hang in there. Like, I guess the best thing we can do is just focus on the local, like what's happening locally as well. And the fact is, we're holding this support for now. So it would be a bit premature to call this, you know, a new bear trend. There's no doubt about it. This has been a like a smaller swing down, which is a bear trend. Yes, it's like lower highs, lower lows. but we have not lost the range yet. When we lose the range, the definition changes. Like, it's like, okay, we've lost the range. Like, we've made a new low, because here's the low that we're dealing with. We've just tested that low right here. Technically, we're a little higher than that low, but we're at equal lows. So EL, equal lows. When we get a lower low, if we lose that low, that's when you've broken the structure of the range, and that's the hallmarks of a downtrend. So till then, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm just focusing on the range until we break the range, whether that's the support or the resistance. All right. Pretty much until that happens, I'm probably not going to stream that often. It's going to be kind of infrequent while we're, nothing really has changed. We're sort of just still in the range, So until then, I'll say I'll see you later, and take care. Be careful with your trades, and happy accumulating if you're accumulating alts or whatever. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.